Good morning, Matt here with Education News. Today I'm bringing you good news of the week. Our first story comes out of Texas, where Major Olney is making history as one of the first pregnant individuals in the Air Force to actually go supersonic. Currently, Major Lauren Olney serves as the Assistant Director of Operations for the 77th Weapons Operation Squadron. This is out of Dice Air Force Base in Texas. Thanks to a new Air Force policy that allows aircrew members to essentially volunteer to fly while pregnant, Lauren was able to go and talk to her medical providers, do a whole bunch of tests and checks to make sure that it was okay, and she started flying again, which is really amazing and showing that she's still very capable of doing the job. Major Olney said she was inspired to do this decision because her father was also an Air Force pilot. Interestingly enough, her husband is also an Air Force pilot. So flying definitely seems like it's going to run in the family. And her unborn child, which is due in April of this year, has currently logged about 9.2 hours. So that family is definitely spending a ton of time in the air. In our second story of the day, KJ Osborne, who's a wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, found himself at the right place and the right time when he and three other individuals pulled a man out of a burning vehicle in Austin, Texas. Osborne was riding in an Uber whenever they drove up on the scene of the crash, and with the help of the Uber driver and two other Good Samaritans that were at the scene, they essentially ran up, they pulled the individual out of the vehicle, made sure he was safe, and Osborne believes that without help of him and the other individuals there, the driver likely would not have been able to actually get out of the vehicle. The Austin Police and Fire Departments both confirmed the story and stated that the individual that Osborne saved was treated for non-life-threatening injuries and is going to be okay. So big shout out to Osborne and the other Good Samaritans. It's probably a very scary thing to run towards a burning vehicle, but thankfully he did, and because of that, the driver was saved. Our third story of the day comes out of Florida, where a 2-year-old is recovering thanks to the quick thinking of her family and the guidance of the 911 dispatcher that they called. Unfortunately, the 2-year-old was out of sight and was found face down and unresponsive in the family pool. None of the family at the time knew how to do CPR. The family immediately called 911, where they were in contact with the dispatcher supervisor named Thomas Eggers. Thomas, thankfully, worked with the family and guided them through the entire CPR process over the phone. While the family was receiving guidance from the phone, they were also dispatching fire and police department, who got there really quickly and took over CPR at that point. They then took the young girl to the hospital, and she's showing promising signs of recovery. If you don't already know how to do CPR, I highly suggest go ahead and take a course. There's a ton of instances where CPR has saved somebody's life. And just like this story, it can really, really come in handy and really make a difference. Our last story of the day comes out of Bentonville, Arkansas, where 8-year-old Carolyn Carlson dressed up as her teacher for Superhero Day. Instead of dressing up as a fictional superhero, Carolyn wanted to dress up as somebody who makes a difference in her life every single day. Her teacher, Miss Jamie Dye. Carolyn's mom, Courtney, actually reached out to Miss Dye beforehand and coordinated outfits so that whenever Caroline showed up, her superhero, her teacher, would have the same outfit. Miss Dye has been a teacher for about 8 years in the area and stated that even whenever she was a little kid, she wanted to be a teacher. So it's amazing to see the impact that a very good, very positive teacher can have on her students. All right, that's it for this week's Good News Roundup. It's stories like this that really remind us the positive impact that we can have on each other, and I absolutely love going through all of these stories with you. Obviously, like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful week.